Ladies and gentlemen, let's again into the video. Thousands of games are in the Steam winter sale. That's right, the Christmas sales are now on. Now, just before we continue into the deals, I just want to give a couple of suggestions to you all. First of all, there's no way in hell I can cover all of the deals available in this particular video, so I'm going to put out a couple of videos over the next few days to try and go over the biggest ones, the biggest and best savings, I guess. This particular video is going to be focused purely on Steam. However, there are other websites, for example Uplay, which are also offering some substantial savings. Green Man Gaming are also offering some savings, and also of course all of the other regular services, as you might expect, to have either got their deals up or will have them up over the next day or two. Unsurprising really, they don't want Steam to have all of the markets to itself. The other caveat is that, just like the previous sale, there are no flash deals. So you don't have to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get the game of your choosing, or hope that the game of your choosing is available. And there are also no longer daily deals either. So it's basically just like the last sale. Your mileage may vary, your opinions possibly are that the prices are the same or haven't really changed and we're still getting the deep discounts, or you could potentially have the theory that maybe we don't get such good deals as we had previously. I'll leave that down to your discretion and imagination. But with all of that said, as I've highlighted a couple of times now, there are so many deals. I'm going to go primarily through the highlighted deals, and then we're going to be going down to a few more highlighted deals. There are a lot of highlighted deals. As you can imagine, I have not played all of the games available, and I'm going to try to not give an in-depth description of the title, particularly if it's well known. For example, the Elder Scrolls franchise, because let's face it, if you don't know what the Elder Scrolls franchise is by now, you've potentially been hiding under a rather large rock. If everyone cool with that? Well, I don't really know if you're cool with that, because I don't really get feedback for a day or so. But let's pretend you're cool with that, shall we? So, we're going to jump into this one. We're going to start out with Metal Gear Solid The Phantom Pain. 33% off, which is, I'm going to just give you a Great British Pound prices, because we'll be here all day if I keep reeling off different regional prices. So, just for the sake of argument, 30 Great British Pounds is a good deal. It's a pretty damn good deal. It's got a whole lot of gameplay in it. I actually gave a full review of this title, and I pretty much stick by what I'd said. I maybe was a little too kind to the game. It does have a few issues. Primarily the ending, I'm not going to spoil it. But aside from that, I absolutely love The Phantom Pain. Easily one of my top games for this year. The only downside is the absolute fucked up situation with Konami. That's the only problem with buying the game, is you're supporting Konami. But aside from that, you know, absolutely fantastic game. Absolutely one of Kojima's finest pieces of work, in my opinion anyway. My humble opinion. Well, not some humble opinion. Definitely well worth picking up. The Elder Scrolls franchise. So your savings will vary. You've got everything here. You've got the Elder Scrolls Online, Tamriel Unlimited, if you so desire. I don't really think that that's so much with the played anymore. You've got Skyrim Legendary Edition, which is $4.99. Honestly, you'd be pretty silly to get anything other than the Legendary Edition, because you get all of the DLC. Half-Fire sucks, balls, forget that. But Dragonborn and Dawnguard, well worth picking up. Even if you never want to become a werewolf, it's well worth picking up Dawnguard, just purely for the extra content. Same with Dragonborn, loads of additional hours to waste or utilise. Really odd one is that Oblivion is actually more expensive than Skyrim, and technically speaking, even Morrowind is like 9 pence more expensive than Skyrim Legendary Edition. Not quite sure what's going on there. Either way, really good value in those particular games. Don't really have any qualms about recommending any of them. A lot of wasted hours, a lot of potential gameplay. Next one, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This is not actually the cheapest I've seen it. GOG have done it slightly cheaper. Green Man Gaming have also had it slightly cheaper than the 25 that they're offering. It's not bad. It's a pretty damn good price, and if you've not delved into the Wild Hunt yet, you might as well pick it up. There is also Assassins of Kings and also the original Witcher. And you could also pick up the trilogy, 57% off, which is $27.94. Rather evidently, that's a substantial saving over the regular prices. There are a couple of little caveats I want to mention. The first is that as much as I love the story of The Witcher 1 and 2, I'm probably going to get some rage in this from this comment, but I personally find that the gameplay on both of them, especially the original Witcher, there are some mods available, is really bad. And I primarily am focused on the combat here. I'm not talking about the questing or the loot system or the anything else actually. I really love the dialogue options, I really love the open world, I really love the story. It's primarily the combat I have a massive issue with particularly The Witcher 1. The Witcher 2 did fix some of it, obviously it's a later game, but The Witcher 3 is pretty awesome. So I'm just warning you ahead of time, so do go ahead and just be wary that the combat isn't as aged, so if you're more used to modern games and you go to the original Witcher, it can be a little jarring. You've also got some really good deals on both Tropico and Sid Meier's. I'm not going to go into all of them because they're really cheap. Usual caveats, if you're interested in those type of strategy games, go ahead and pick them up. You're not really going to get much better deals than that. A Game of Thrones is also cheap, 66% off, which is pretty insane, $7.81. This obviously is for fans of the TV series, and basically if you like Telltale games and you like Game of Thrones, go ahead and try it out. I've heard some mixed feelings. I've deliberately not played the games as yet, if I'm totally honest, because I'm actually quite behind on the television show for multiple reasons. And I've just not really had the time to really sink into the game to really enjoy it. I've heard some mixed feelings. I've played it briefly, just very briefly, around a friend's house, and I've heard some mixed feelings from other people that it's not quite up to the standards of The Walking Dead, particularly towards the latter part of the game. They've still recommended it though, and let's face it, once again, if you're looking for a game to either buy for a loved one this Christmas, or you're looking for a game for yourself, and you're once again a fan of either the books or the TV show, then you're not really going to go too wrong. Back to the Future, ridiculously cheap, a lot of entertainment, well worth picking up. Killer is Dead, I've heard it's pretty good, but I've never played it, to be honest. These are more highlighted deals. Stalker franchise. The best way of describing this game would be a cross between, I suppose you could say, Fallout and Metro. So it's almost got more of the atmosphere of Metro, but with a considerable amount of Fallout in it. There are a lot of mods available for this one, and I'd highly recommend you try them all out. The base games have some problems, quite a few bugs. The original Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl, as well as Clear Sky actually have aged quite a bit in terms of graphics. I'll be honest, I could not get into this game. I tried and I've tried and I've tried, I've installed it several times, I've tried different mods, and it's just one of those games that I personally could not get into, but I know it's good. But every time I try to get into it, it's like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. I know the game's really good, but I just can't get into it for whatever reason. Don't know why, it just is what it is. Ashes of the Singularity is also on sale, 25% off, which is $29.99. It's a pretty good solid game. It is obviously still in beta, essentially, but I think it's a little unfair because some have almost just labelled it and lumped it in with, it's a DirectX 12 benchmark, done. And that's kind of unfair. I do feel that has benefited it from the fact that it's one of the first real pieces of software that users can get their hands on and try it out. You know, DirectX 12. It is a pretty good game. If I had to give an explanation of what it's like, it would probably be something along the lines of an even bigger scale Supreme Commander, which is, by the way, a really good title in and of itself, so you should check out Supreme Commander as well. Not really anything else to say. It's not a bad deal considering the game's not even technically out yet. Devil May Cry franchise, there's a whole bunch of these games available. 70% off DMC with the, reboot. And there's also a pretty good deal on Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. And there's also Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition also. 75% off, which makes it $3.99. Devil May Cry 4 is $11.99. And DMC Devil May Cry is $7.19. Each of them, in my opinion, is a really good game. DMC, the original, does have problems. I really, really hate what they did to Dante. And I know some people love it and all that stuff. To me, he feels just a walking cliche. And I just think that they went way, way too far in the other direction of Dante. And I know that Dante was always cocky and arrogant, and that was kind of his thing. But this guy just comes off as kind of like an angsty dick, my opinion. But still, it is a good game. The hack and slash and all of that stuff is fun. Storyline's not exactly amazing, the original, but it's pretty cool. There are some pretty excellent areas as well in the game, and there is some imagination in there. So, while the voice acting is not amazing, it does a pretty good job. Graphics aren't awful either, particularly if you've got a fairly reasonable rig. I say fairly reasonable, you don't really need that much of a system to be able to really crank this up and put on high levels of anisotropic filtering and MSAA and all of that jazz just to make it look really nice. Maybe add some downsampling in there as well, and it looks pretty damn sweet. And Devil May Cry 4 and Devil May Cry 3 are also pretty much the same deals. I really like all of them. And let's just go through a couple of other games that I'd recommend. We've got Quake Live, which is quite cheap at the moment, £1.40. And let's see, Saints Row 4, a continuation of the sales that they've had on all week. That's $3.29. Pretty good. Once again, not my type of game, but I know it's really popular amongst many. So if it's your type of thing, if you're looking for a sillier version of GTA, or you're just looking for a game to kind of kill the time, go ahead and pick it up. There is a lot of gameplay here for the price. You're not going to blast through this in 10 minutes, so there is a lot of gameplay there. Call of Duty Black Ops 3, it's the latest and greatest Black Ops, or Call of Duty. It's actually a pretty solid affair, I've got to say. The PC version is not too bad either. $29.99, that's a 25% saving. It's not amazing savings or anything like that. It's not going to set the world alight. But let's face it, you're not really going to expect anything better. Call of Duty sells really well, so they don't really need to do steep discounts throughout Steam. And I can guarantee it's going to be selling really well with this small discount. Final Fantasy VI is also on special offer. And I say that in the loosest possible sense. 10% off, $9.89. If memory serves, Green Man Gaming actually have a slightly larger discount because of their coupons, so you might want to check those out instead. Final Fantasy VI, as it turns out, the PC version is pretty solid. Allows you to save anywhere with a quick save, but it does exit you once you do, but that's quite nice because it means you don't have to be at a save point. All the rest of the game plays as you'd expect. There's no voice acting or anything like that. It's essentially an improvement of the iOS version. So you don't get like amazingly redrawn sprites at like 4K or anything like that, but it does play pretty well. I'll be honest, I'm actually playing it for the first time. Yes, that's right, I've never actually played Final Fantasy VI. Don't ask me why, I just never did. Played Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9 and a couple of the other classics, but just never got around to 6. So I'm doing that, and I'm quite enjoying it actually. It's a pretty damn good game so far. Not very far in, about 6 or 7 hours, but really enjoying it. PC port seems pretty solid at the moment, so make of that as you will. It does, of course, support controller functionality as well as keyboard. Turok as well, 20% off for the remaster. I say that in the loosest possible sense because it's not like they've done huge things with the graphics, but still, it's not too bad. And I think there are just a couple of others I want to mention before I let you all go. A lot of Star Wars stuff is on sale, which surprises no one ever, including the Outcast and Jedi Knight 2 for 70% off. The Old Republic 2, which did have a large update, which does fix a lot of stuff, might be worth picking up if you've not already done so. I know a lot of people criticise the Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords. Everyone just says, no, nowhere near as good as the original, which I would grant you there are some problems with it, but I actually really love KOTOR 2 in its own right. And of course, Valve have fuck tons of savings on their own games, which I don't really need to mention. Because let's face it, a Steam sale without Half-Life or Counter-Strike or something similar going on sale is just a Steam sale that does not exist. Dark Souls, the original, is also on sale, which you might want to consider. It's £5. The PC version is pretty fucked with Dark Souls, but fortunately there are patches which do improve things. And these are obviously third party. From Software didn't do an amazing job with the port. And Borderlands is also £5 as well. Very similar to the previous Steam sale, to be honest, in terms of pricing. There's not anything astounding. So the next video, I'm probably going to go through a few more of the really good deals, because this video is already getting kind of lengthy, so I'm going to start losing people. I will also point out that the Rise is also on sale. Pretty good game. I did cover it. I actually liked it a lot more than what I thought I was going to be honest. And Transistor is also on sale, which is a really good deal. $2.99. Really good game. But I'm kind of just randomly picking at stuff now. So I just wanted to go through mostly the front page as it was, and just kind of give some opinions on the biggest titles. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I've got a little bit rambling now, just because I kept going like, ooh, shiny stuff, because I was kind of doing some browsing as I was looking. Going into the various menus of the action and casual and all that stuff, just to kind of see what's available. There's actually quite a lot of stuff. It's a pretty good sale. It's not the best that I've ever seen, but if you're looking for a couple of big games, obviously you've got the Phantom Pain and all that. And to be honest, you probably could get away with around £100 and get an absolutely ridiculous number of games that are going to last you throughout the year. Anyway, with all of that said, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. It's been a bit of a rambly one towards the end, but there you go. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.